All right, Julius,
Julian,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for taking the time out to talk with us, and as far as the students are concerned. But let's get right into it.
All right.
Just give me your story. How did you start in the barber business? What brought you to this industry?
Oh man, it's a small story but great. My story starts out as a messed up haircut.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I grew up in Washington, D.C., and like most parents, you seek for your child to get a better education. This means one of two things. Either you get a tutor and study hard, or you try to move up in the world and you move locations and get a better school. We chose to move locations and get a better school. There's two problems with that. The first problem is you don't know where you're going to move. It may be far or close. Unfortunately for me, it was very far. This caused a problem because my barber was 20 miles away. Another problem is that we had one car, so that forced me to get on a bus and a train to take it to see my barber. I got tired of that maybe after the third or fourth time and was like, I got to find a barber around here. It's my first year in high school. I want to continue looking good. I had an afro all summer, so I decided to go to a company that's named to the day, Hair Cuttery. This is something that you guys will probably know as Supercuts.
So that's their version?
Yes, their version. Absolutely. Very profitable company, but there's two things that's wrong with that. They didn't know how to cut black hair or know how to, I guess, attract black customers. But nonetheless, I bossed up, sat in the chair, and attempted to tell this young lady how to cut my hair. And she did the best thing. She did the best she could. Unfortunately, she proceeded to wet my hair. Exactly, and cut it the best that she could.
Scissors and comb like this?
Scissors and comb, man, yeah. And unfortunately, I paid for it. It cost me $15, and I was very unhappy. And I don't know what possessed me, but I chose to ask my dad to go out and buy some clippers and learn myself. And fortunately, my grandfather was a barber, and he had nothing to do with teaching me, but evidently the talent was passed down to me. And after a year, I was cutting my hair and my own, and developed quite a talent.
How old were you when?
I was 15.
15.
Yeah, I started out in the 9th grade, and by the time I was 16, I was very proficient in barbering. And
so you kept cutting your boys and moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they noticed before I even took, the opportunity to ask them if they wanted. They noticed my hair, and they was like, hey, can you cut mine? I was like, man, I don't know, but I'll try. Yeah.
Right.
It's like, well, I'll let you practice on me.
Gotcha.
You cut it for free. I was like, perfect.
Gotcha.
And that was a springboard I needed, was the trust.
Okay. So how long did it take, or when did you get your license?
Let's see, a year or two after I graduated, which was in 1992.
Okay.
For those of you guys who can do the math, I'm 41, going to 42 years old now. So I've been in this industry approximately over 20 years professionally. Yeah, so.
And it started?
Started back in Maryland.
Okay.
I later went to Ohio State School of Barbering and Cosmetology, which is called the Hair Experts, in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Giving them a shout out because they're definitely a big part of my legacy. And I moved back to Maryland. I didn't want to stay there in Ohio. I wanted to come back to Maryland and continue my professional career.
How long have you been out here in
California? 16 years. Yeah.
Is there a big difference in the barber industry in Maryland as opposed to the barber industry in California?
Now it's caught up because of the influx of barbers migrating to California.
Mm-hmm.
For the celebrityism of it.
Right.
I was one of the first guys from the East Coast to pretty much, I would say, pioneer that movement. Mm-hmm. There was no internet. Internet was available, was very, very,
nothing like
now.
Right.
So, I was just out here for basically modeling and acting, and I was like, I can cut hair out here. And once I saw the opportunity for it and the money to go along with it, I was like, this is easy.
So there's a difference in the cost factors.
The cost factor, definitely cost factor is different. The East Coast is more volume on it. They have more volume dealing with the customer, and the price point is relatively the same, like between $15 and $25, you know, for haircuts. But now LA is probably springboarded the into the $30 to $35, depending on what area you're in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So male grooming is probably stronger in LA than the whole grooming thing.
Yes, the more grooming part is aspect of it is definitely stronger. I feel like in LA, but the East Coast still has a more concentrated barber influence. So they're catching up because they're getting a lot of areas that are going through the gentrification, and so it's forcing those companies to step their game up. And you know,
salon ownership. Have you ever owned a salon before?
I actually have. My first was in Los Angeles, and it was called Julian's on Sunset Hair Lifestyles. So I sought to actually went back to school, cosmetology school, to get my qualification for that. And once I graduated, I was like, you know what? I just need to open up a shop. And I had no clue, man, what I was doing. I mean, I had the money, I had the investor, actually, and I had no clue. I was just winging it. I was just like, let me go look over here by Roscoe's, man. Like, you know, and boy, I wish I had got that place, because it was the first place I looked at. It was cheaper, and I knew that the foot traffic was there. But I didn't know how to negotiate a lease. I didn't know what I was doing, but the spot got leased, so I wound up going to Sunset and Larrabee, right next to Tower Records. And it's a big old price jump. Huge price jump. I had different mix of people, but I had an 8-chair. I opened up. I had an 8-chair salon, unisex area. It was very, very ahead of its time, man. I had a great developer guy who built the place and followed it to the T. Lofty style, you know. I had the support of the hotels. All my celebrities came by, but one of the biggest issues I had was marketing dollars. So fortunately, I got out with, you know, with some money. I got bought out by a tech company, and that's when I went into my second phase, which was the mobile barbershop.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit. You're here, you've been here for 12 years. What was the gap? But when you first landed, were you renting a booth in commission? When did?
Oh, okay, yeah.
How you got here, and then
absolutely,
you got to your spot?
Absolutely. I started out. I found a barbershop that was called a Barbershop Club on Melrose, and I was always used to booth rent, but I knew I was starting over, and I was like, well, look, let's do, you know, commission, hourly actually. Come to think about it, he wasn't doing it right at all, but it was hourly. But I springboarded so fast, I quickly went to commission, and then he put me on booth rent after a while. So I excelled very quickly, especially since I was probably one of the only barbers out here from the East Coast. So all people got the haircut that they wanted, more the East Coast look.
Gotcha. So now, when you say more of an East Coast look, is that defined by sharper lines with the razor, those kind of things? What's more of
it was a combination between the style of the taper, and the finishing, which is the lines and, you know, the sharper, using the razor. A lot of guys weren't using the razor, man, out here. No. They just weren't, you know. And the barbershop culture didn't really grab on to LA until, I would say, 03, 04.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's when you started to see the change because the influence started to come over here a little bit more because the music industry had a heavy impact on the barbering industry out here.
So that change came from gentlemen like yourself, come from the East Coast, from the Midwest.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the Midwest. Coming to LA. Yeah, absolutely. And the internet had springboarded, had launched really big at that time. So you were able to see pictures, you were able to see people interacting, YouTube, so people going on the internet looking up stuff, just seeing, training videos, what have you. So
let's talk about from the ownership of your salon to the ownership of your mobile unit. What was that transition like? Had it been something you thought about doing for a while, or is it something that just kind of evolved?
It was something that I thought about for a while, at least 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I started out my car in Washington, D.C., and my uncle, he actually was an entrepreneur. He owned one of the largest architectural firms in D.C., and he was like, I don't have time. You think you can come to me? I was like, okay, how much? I'll pay you $20. And for me, $20 was like a huge tip. Gas was like 99 cents. I get out the office, man, and go travel and come back, and I'm good. And he was like, Julian, after about 5 times, he was like, this is a business, man. Like, you should really pursue it. So I was like, all right. So I tested it out. I said, hey, you know what? I had some car salesmen. I was like, I remember writing it down. I said, who doesn't have time? And I was like, doctors. I was like, they're in the office and hair and stuff. So I was like, car salesmen. And I was like, they can't leave the lot because if they miss a client, that's a car sales. So I was like, okay, I got one client. It's a car salesman. I pitched the idea to him. He was like, awesome. Let's test it out. I said, perfect. Give me like 4 or 5 people. Make it worth my while. So set it up. I went there, cut their hair. These guys was like, man, can I pay you next week? Can I pay you? I was like, I got half my money.
Right.
So I was like, it didn't dawn on me that they were on commission. So they were like starting out, So I was like, okay, that's mistake number 1. I need to get my money up front.
Right.
Or explain to them that I can't, it needs to be in and out.
This ain't a payment plan.
Yeah, exact payment plan. So I took all those notes and fortunately came out here to LA and quickly noticed that it worked out here and I can charge a little more, but no one would take me seriously as a mobile barbershop business because the reason why is because the market requires something visual.
Okay, gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? This is a tangible town.
They just saw it as come to my office.
Come to my office, homeboy, hook up.
Full mobile business.
Absolutely. Because the concept wasn't thought of. So it was like,
They're almost looking at you like you don't want to get a shop. You just want to run.
yeah, you just want to run around and da-da-da. You want to charge this premium price.
Right.
And I remember this guy's record label exec. I used to hit up all the record labels. That's what I was known for. My price was like $40 to come to you. He said, man, there's no one going to pay $40 for that service.
Right.
And I was like,
Come in the office.
I'm on the phone with this guy telling me that no one's going to pay that price. And I'm like, they will pay the price.
Right.
Trust me. And they did. So I was met with a lot of opposition, but I was like, you know what? I need something to put this thing in that's going to turn heads and make them notice. And once I did, it was a wrap. If you ever are an entrepreneur out there and once you find that thing that makes your business, that's going to solidify it, it's the best feeling in the world, man. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. When did you, let's say, you've got the mobile business, things are running, and you probably answered this pretty well. When did you have to make the distinction between you, the business person, and you, the barber?
When I started looking for capital.
Okay.
That was the hardest thing that I had to face. because I spent a lot of time at the kitchen table on the internet researching and trying to build my brand and being like, should I finance it myself? I can't. I work by my hands, time versus money, family, this, that. It just wasn't adding up. Yeah. And I was just like, I need to get an investor. And I actually did get an investor for the first mobile barbershop, but I needed more because it only secured the mobile barbershop. It didn't secure like operation costs and didn't secure any of that.
So he just went in on the actual car because he could see that.
Right. He went in on a deal because I pitched it to him as a marketing vehicle for because I was a partner in a marketing company. Okay. So I knew that was my mistake.
Make a brand of
right. That was my mistake from what I was talking about from my salon. I was like, I lacked marketing dollars. So I was barbering, but I part-time. I went in and worked with this guy because he had a marketing company. So I sought out to get that under my belt. So I was like, marketing will not be the downfall of my company ever again, you know. So I wound up. There's a lot of tools that I got from that, how to cold call pitch companies like Coke, Pepsi, this and that. So funny story, a guy needed a haircut. By the way, every deal that I closed, and I'm still closing, is from the barber chair. All right. So one of my proteges back in Maryland said, hey, I got a client that's coming out there to LA. He's moving. He needs a haircut. You're going to be his barber. I said, okay, cool. And he had heard about the mobile barbershop that I was doing and everything. And this guy comes to my house and sits down, tells me he's from DC too. So he's like, yeah, just give me the DC haircut. I'm like, great. So all of a sudden he said, hey, Lamont tells me about this mobile bus that you're doing, barbershop bus that you're doing. I'm like, yeah. And by this time I had did the proposal like 3 or 4 times over, just different people helping me like cultivate it, rewrite it, tighten it up. And I was like, I remember reading something that's like, as if you're prepared, he said, if you're ready, you never have to get ready. You stay ready, you never have to get ready. So I knew if I had that proposal, the time would present itself.
Somebody asked me.
Exactly. So he was like, yeah, you got anything on it? I said, absolutely. Pulled it out. It was in color. It was da-da-da. It was tour. It had a tour on there because I wanted to do a mobile barbershop tour.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it was a mobile barbershop. It was a barbershop 2 because the movie Barbershop came out. So I was like, by the time the 2 comes out, I want to do a DVD tour of number 1. So I wrote it out. I gave it to Queen Latifah in her hand because I used to cut her dad's hair. Okay. She put it in her trunk. I'll take a look at it. Right. Never heard from her. Anyway, he looked at it and he was like, hey man, this is dope. I mean, I had the pictures, I had the diagram, the barbershop inside, the arrows pointing to it, POS system, I had it, everything. Okay. This guy says, I like this, man. This is real cool. And I'm like, hold up, man, what do you do? He said, I'm in marketing. I'll say, what? Oh, me too. Right. He said, okay. I'll say, who you work for? He says, Boost Mobile. Okay. So I was like, the cell phone? He was like, yeah. By this time, Boost Mobile was like on top of the cell phone chain. And he's like, do you mind if I take this to the office? I'm like, yeah.
Not at all.
Absolutely. So I went back to my partner the next day. I was like, look, got a client, works for Boost Mobile. He took it to his office. I think there might be something here. He was like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So he says, have him send me an email. Have him send you an email, CC me on it. So by that time, Glenn was like, called me and said, dude, they like the mobile barbershop. They want to do it. I said, huh? He said, yeah, they want to do the mobile barbershop tour. I'm like, but it's a barbershop, movie tour that I did. He said, no, we want to do it because we got And One. We sponsor And One, the basketball tournament. So we want to do a tour with you. I'm like, okay, send me an email. Sent it, showed it to my partner. He was like, man, I don't know. Now,
Really?
the reason why he said he don't know is because I didn't have the mobile barbershop.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay, so you got plans together to put everything. Okay, I got you.
I sold the dream to Boost Mobile. So I said, listen, they want to do this tour. You're going to invest. You're going to make your money back.
Right.
And then some. Then we have a marketing vehicle which we can pitch. I pitched him the whole thing. I had it up here for so long.
I just need your help to get
Right.
this bus.
So this dude, I said, look, seeing is believing. Let's go down to Irvine and let's go check it out. He was like, okay. We drive down there, check it out. This thing was, I'd never seen it. I've only been in it once.
Mm-hmm.
The day that I got the idea to put it in the Airstream.
Okay.
So he sat in it, looked at it. He was like, let's do it. I said, for real? Okay.
Spin bucks.
Man, this thing was $85,000.
Wow.
Now,
And that's buying it from him. That's not doing
that's
the
buying it from the. That's right. That's
not even doing the bill.
yeah, but I said the build out. Don't worry about it because it was designed. They had already envisioned what we could do.
Right.
So we talked to the guy. Can you take this out? Take that out? He's like, yeah, no problem. We'll keep it here for you.
Stripped everything out of it.
Stripped it out. It was clean. We threw 2 barber chairs in there, and we was on the tour in 2 months. Got a $120,000 check from Boost Mobile to do the tour.
And that's money up front.
That's money up front, bro.
And all you need to do
I mean,
is
we
run the check.
invoice over the course of the tour, but still,
the check's coming.
the check is coming.
Right.
So my partner, God bless his greedy soul. It fared out, man. It was a blessing, and I'll never trade that experience. It was great. We did a 15-city tour, Boost Mobile. Got some money in my pocket, and I just recently gave the vehicle back to him because I was just like, it's no use to me anymore. I want to
Gotcha.
increase my vision for building my own.
Gotcha.
So I have my first own mobile barbershop for retail sale.
Gotcha.
All right, that's the story.
Wow. That, I mean, from a business standpoint, because I hear a lot of people talk about trying to do some mobile things, and that's it's a great opportunity to kind of hear how the whole story came together and how you can take what would be most people think just running around the city as a mobile barber to the next level and looking for partnerships
absolutely,
with
and it's
people like that.
yeah, and it's such. I'm still finalizing that right now with a couple partnerships. Corporate has yet to really harness that. I just closed a deal with a guy, and I put my own money into it. So it's starting back up again. 8 years later, but I think this is it.
Excellent. What advice would you give the new up and coming folks coming into the barber industry?
Learn your finances. Learn from somebody that's smarter than you. Find that one person that's gonna take you seriously, and use the internet. Ask the questions. That's a faceless person on the other end that's got all the answers. And don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to, I would say, do better. You don't always have to come up with your own idea. You just have to do it better than the next person. So always take your business seriously. You can't do it by yourself. That's the reason why they have team members, point guard, center, forward, small forward, because all those people hold that position great, and still they have substitutes on the bench. So you can always be replaced in business, and be serious about your dreams and your goals. Don't rush. Yeah.
Now, I noticed when we were in your spot that you had some stuff written on the wall there.
Right.
So it looks like you're one of those folks who believes in writing things down. What are the differences for you between your personal goals and your business goals?
The difference between personal and business is it always comes down, I think what I'm still learning today is time management. and that's a constant battle. But business goals are always plan them out over the course of a few months to years. And personal goals are usually the faster goals. Do smaller goals and then grow.
Gotcha.
Grow your personal goals. Grow them out as they come. You know, your kids, once you have kids, it's like college. Those things are you starting to plan them out a little out further, you know, savings for your college. But for business, I think you have to have a minimum 5-year plan.
Gotcha.
Start out with 5.
And go from there.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Knowing what you know now, what would you do differently, if anything?
Change the people I hang around. Period.
I saw iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. Change the people you hang around. That doesn't mean that you can't hang around your friends, but you have to strategically pick your team players. Right. It's just how it is, man. And I also would be a better judge of character and being able to learn how to separate business from personal. When you're dealing with friends in business, you have to have a clear conversation with them about that.
Right.
It just has to be clear, and it's probably still not going to work. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. I think it wouldn't be much. As you see, it's a short list. I think changing the people when it comes to business, change the people that there's a reason why they're friends. There's a reason why, you know, you guys have a personal relationship. Sometimes you have to keep it that way. Yeah. You know? Absolutely.
All right. Thanks again for your time, man.
No problem. No problem.
You got it.
All right.